tuned into the
You
truth
are
with
now
G.
tuned into the truth with G.
Educate and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the
You
show
can't
for
have the
you.
truth.
The
This ain't the show for
truth,
you.
the whole truth,
The
and nothing
truth,
but the
the
truth.
whole truth.
So
It's
sit
nothing but
back,
the truth.
relax,
So
and
sit back,
buckle up and enjoy this
relax,
ride.
buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The truth with G. The truth with G.
All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. It's your boy, Jerry Graham. You know me as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, the 25th day of July. Summer almost gone. We are so deep into the summer. It's crazy. Kids be going back to school here soon. Time is flying. It's not slowing down for anybody. But I want to thank you once again for joining me right here on WPMM Internet Radio for The Truth with G, where we talk about these issues. I want to thank my listening audience for tuning in. We are here every Monday, Thursday, 6 o'clock p.m. I know you're surprised a little bit about me being here on Thursday, but I am here. I made a way to get here on a Thursday evening. We're going to talk about these issues. Very important topic tonight. We're talking about police brutality. Police brutality tonight, and I want to hear from you guys on this topic tonight, especially in light of what happened and what has been put out there and broadcasted on video and everything that's going on. And if you don't know about it, we're going to talk about it here in a minute. Couple things. Let's do some house cleaning before we get into the show real quick. Couple things going on. The anniversary. The anniversary is coming up. 4 years on The Truth with G. We are going to be celebrating 4 years. July 30th is the day I started the show 4 years ago. Coming up on the anniversary, so we'll be not doing much celebrating. My celebrating is making sure that you get the information that you need to have, and that's how I celebrate doing 4 years of The Truth with G. Last year, if you recall, last year, what I did for my anniversary, and I wasn't able to do it this year because of time restraints. I got a lot going on. Last year, what we did for my anniversary, and again, it's not about me. We not just fed homeless, but we made sure that the homeless, some members of the homeless community just had the necessities of things that they needed to help them survive on the streets. And what we did last year is, with the help of you guys and donations and whatnot, I was able to fill, I think it was 80 bags, the large drawstring bags. I was able to fill 80 bags with necessities, toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, deodorant, socks, T-shirts, things of that nature. Snacks, snack foods. And when we filled these bags, and me and the wife, we went out and we actually passed these bags out to our homeless community. We didn't set up shop nowhere and say, come get it. We actually took it to them. We hit the streets, and we took it to them. We went to the homeless camps. We went to the corners, we woods. We was all over the place trying to give out these bags. And I got a whole new perspective of our homeless by doing that. It brought a respect, if you will, for our homeless community that they don't get, too often, because I can't even imagine being in their situation. And they have adapted. They're struggling. It's bad conditions. It's terrible. It's unsanitary, and it's this, that, and other. But they make a way. They make a way to get what they need to get and do what they need to do. And people's perception of the homeless is that they think these people want to be out there. They think that these people are just drug addicts, and they're addicted to alcohol and things of that nature. And it's not that. And I talked to a lot of them as well. As I was passing out bags, I talked to a lot of them and got some perspective and some stories from some of them. And they're there. Most of them are out there by circumstance. And again, it's not because they want to be there. It's by circumstance and by just by things happening. You miss a paycheck or two, and you could be right in their same situation as well. So that's what I did last year. And prior years to that, we did Thanksgiving. We did feeding families for Thanksgiving. Did that a couple of years to where we gave out $100 gift cards to families, the needy families, so they can have Thanksgiving dinner or whatever. So I try to do good with the show, but right now with the show, we're celebrating 4 years, and I'm not necessarily celebrating me. I'm celebrating the fact that you guys have a vehicle, if you will, to get information that you're not going to get from other outlets, other media outlets. You're going to get the unadulterated from me, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to lie about anything. I'm not going to spread rumor or whatever. Everything is factual based. The information that I pass along to you, and if it's my opinion, I tell you it's my opinion. That way, nobody is misconstrued. No one is saying, well, G said this and G said that. No, well, if G said it, best believe he backed it up. He can back it up with facts. So, but again, we're going to be talking about police brutality. Miss Sonya Massey, say her name. Say her name. If you're on Facebook listening, you see it scrolling across the screen. But we're right here again on WPMM Radio. Let's take care of the particulars so we can jump on into this topic. I want to hear from you today as well. We're not taking phone calls. However, you can. If you're listening on Facebook, you can drop the comments into the bottom of the comment section on Facebook. But again, we're not taking phone calls tonight. But anyway, WPMM in the internet radio is where we're home is. 4 years, going on 4 years, where we play the best in R&B, soul, neo soul, jazz, independent hip hop music. WPMMradio.com is the website that you can go to. You can go to that website and listen to the show, or you can download the app from that website as well. As a free app. You can go to Apple Store or the Google Store and download the app, the free app as well. Again, the key word is being free. Go to those. Also, you can tell Alexa to play WPMM. She will oblige as well. Also on live on Facebook. You can look us up on YouTube as well. And if someone needs to get that connection, all you have to do is text them WPMMradio.com. All they have to do is click on the link, hit play, and they can listen to the show as well. That app, you can put it on any device, any tablet, phone, computer, what have you. And you can listen to the show that way. But we have different avenues. Hit me up, TTWG Graham is the Facebook. My email address is thetruthwithg@yahoo.com if you want to hit me up via email as well, especially if you have an interesting topic that you want me to explore, situations that you want me to investigate, things of that nature. Thetruthwithg@yahoo.com is the email. All right, the views and opinions individual radio hosts and guests are of their own. It does not necessarily reflect the official policy of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. All right, now that we have taken care of the particulars, and just to let you know, next week on my schedule, I would not be on Thursday show. A couple things that's happening, and still we're doing some housekeeping here. Couple things that's happening next week. One thing that's happening today, and I would be remiss if I did not shout this out today. The big dog. You most of you guys know him as the big dog. Some of you may still just call him Amir. But anyway, my youngest child is celebrating his first day as a non-teen, if you will. He turned 20 years old today, so he is no longer a teenager. Want to wish him a very, very, very happy birthday. He's here for just a hot second. He'll be leaving next week. For those who know, if you're on my Facebook, I'm sure you saw it. But he was enrolled in playing football up at University of North Alabama the last 2 years, where he came, out of high school and signed to play Division I football at University of North Alabama. He decided to go in the transfer portal at the end of this past season. He entered the portal, and now he will be taking on a football and a track scholarship at Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. So he'll be leaving next week to take on his new ventures. Today's his birthday. The big dog, I want to wish you a very, very happy birthday, happy and safe birthday. He's not out partying right now. He's actually at work. when he was home, he decided to take on a job while he's home. So he's at work today, so he's not out partying or anything. But want to give him a shout out and wish him a very, very, very happy birthday today. 20 years on this earth. I told him it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. All right. Now on today's topic, let's go ahead. Facebook, go ahead and share. Go ahead and share if you're on Facebook, please, please. I'm sorry, y'all. Please share if you're on Facebook because this topic tonight that we're talking about is one of the main topic tonight that we're talking about is police brutality. It's very often that Black people are suffering at the hands of the police, and we're suffering at a rate way higher than our counterparts. You don't see this type of situation with any other ethnicity other than the Black race. You see with a little bit of the Hispanics or whatnot, especially in today's climate, with the rhetoric that's being spewed by government officials and the orange idiot. You see some escalations going on with that. But however, police brutality, it seemed to have peaked. And I don't have the exact numbers of how many incidents have taken place since we all watched George Floyd die at the hand of a police officer. We had to sit and watch where minutes passed, and the officer had his knee on his neck. He slowly and methodically killed George Floyd, and we all saw it live, if you will. And after that, with the protests and the Black Lives Matter movement and the whole nine, you would have thought that police brutality would slow down, that it would get better. But it almost seems, and again, I need to get the numbers on it. It almost appear that instead of getting better, things have gotten worse. We've had a situation here in Northwest, right down the road over there in Okaloosa County, where a police officer shot at airmen in the United States Air Force. They went to his home, and when he answered the door with a legal firearm, with a legal registered firearm, and you come to my door banging on my door, I'm not going to open the door. I'm just going to shoot you through the door. But he opened his door, didn't point any weapons at anybody. He opened his door because they banging on his door, and come to find out that they were there on bogus reasons, at the wrong house maybe, and he ended up dead. He ended up dead. A Black man that's serving this country that, and I've said it before, and I say it again. We have members of our military that is serving a country that don't, and they love this country, but this country is not loving them back, and that's unacceptable, and something has to change in that regard. But anyway, the police brutality. It's so many incidents where, whether someone is doing wrong and they're encountered by the police, or if they're just innocent, such as Miss Massey, where she called the police for help. They're supposed to be there to protect and serve. She called the police for help, and she ended up dead. 3 shots, 1 to the face, 2 to the chest. And she called for help. Police officers are supposed to be there to protect and serve, not to kill. And it's happening too often to innocent victims. Miss Massey just happened to be the next one that has been publicly put out there, where the police body cam was released because of the pressures of the community. It's crazy that the community have to pressure the police or pressure these agencies to release body cam video or release any type of video or evidence or what have you. We shouldn't have to pressure anybody into doing that. There should be an automatic to where, you know, they're paid with public and public dollars, if you will, tax dollars. So as tax-paying citizens, we should be privy to information as long as it's not impeding in an investigation and putting an investigation at risk. We should have information such as this. But it was, you know, about 2 weeks. My understanding, 2 weeks had about 2 weeks had passed before the body cam video was released. And I'm gonna tell you something about the body cam video in a moment. But I do want to give you the background. I want to give you the background first as to what took place. And you know, I'm gonna go to my number one source, and I'm a avid watcher of CNN news, and even with them, they piss me off a lot as well. So I have to check them sometime as well, because I don't want them to get into a situation where they are also acting like some of the other news outlets, such as the idiots over there at Fox or what have you. Y'all forgive me. Y'all think I'm like I'm slow or something, but I have, for the first time listeners, the first time people on Facebook, there's 3 screens in front of me. I have a screen to my left, a screen directly in front of me, and a screen to my right. So sometime I may be looking left or looking right, and y'all probably wonder what the hell is he doing. I'm looking at 3 different screens, if you will. So don't think I'm crazy. Also, if I happen to look up there, it's because there is a big screen TV up there that normally it is turned to the news channel, to where if there's any breaking news that come, I get it directly from the ticker, if you will. So don't think I'm crazy if I start looking around. And if I start looking around, if I start reading one screen or the other, I don't have the talents to where I can do 2 things at one time. So I may pause because I'm looking at something or I'm reading something. And, you know, don't hold that against me, because it is very difficult for me to read and talk at the same time, unless I'm saying what I'm reading. But anyway, according to CNN, and if you haven't seen the video is so chilling, and we're going to get into that video as well. According to CNN, the family of SONYA Massey is calling for a probe into the hiring of sheriff deputy charged with fatally shooting a 36-year-old black woman in her Illinois home this month, citing their concerns over a record showing that he worked 6 law enforcement agencies over 4 years and was charged with driving under influence twice. And now, what this particular story is starting off with the officer Bob. We'll talk about that here in a moment as well. SONYA Massey was shot and killed by a responding officer after she called 911 because she thought there was an intruder in her home, according to officials. He has entered a not guilty plea and was denied pretrial release, according to records. The state's Training and Standards Board records show that Grayson law enforcement certification has been suspended. CNN had looked for a comment from the Grayson's attorney. It did not get that information yet. They have not said anything. Massey is one of a number of black women who has been killed by police in their own homes in recent years, including Breonna Taylor, Atiana Jefferson. In a news conference, and we can't forget about Sandra Bland, who died at the hands of police as well. In a news conference Monday afternoon, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who represents Massey's family, connected her death to other cases of police violence of black people in the U.S. And here's what we know about the sheriff deputy who was charged in the murder. Deputy worked at 6 different agencies in 4 years after being charged twice with DUI. Grayson has worked for 6. He began work part of the Pawnee Police in August of 2020. He moved to the Kincaid Burden Police Departments before taking up full-time work with Auburn Police, the Logan County Sheriff, and in May 2023 in Sangamon County. Grayson resignation letter from the Auburn Police Department reviewed by CNN did not suggest that he left due to problems or disciplinary issues. In it, he wrote, "I have nothing but positive experience working with officers. Unfortunately, I've chosen to move on to Logan County Sheriff Department." Grayson listed his reason for leaving both the Burden and the Pawnee Police Departments as wanting to be full-time officer for the Kincaid Police Department. My hours were cut, according to the Auburn Police Department employment application by CNN. Court records indicate Grayson, the officer, was charged with DUI misdemeanor offenses in Illinois in 2015 and 2016. The first incident occurred 2015, so on and so forth. A petition calling for an investigation into why Saginaw County hired Grayson was circulated in March at a march and barbecue in Springfield on Monday. Massey's family and their lawyers called for the county to investigate the decision to hire him, voicing concerns about his arrest and his working with six departments in 4 years. So, you know, we don't know what the reason why this officer was having all this turnover, if you will. 4 agencies in 6 years is a lot for a police officer to move around. Usually, if a police officer move around, it's like once. So, what people are calling for is a probe or investigation as to why this officer was hired at this last agency without being fully vetted as to the reasons why he was moving around so often. But anyway, that's neither here or there as far as him being hired. That's a whole nother show. He was hired and he executed Miss Massey. That's the only way that you can look at it. I'll fucking shoot you in the fucking face, is what he said before he shot her in the face. And I don't know if you've seen the video, but in the video, the officers were in the home. They were in Massey's home, and this is after they looked around outside or whatever. They claimed, they didn't see anything outside. And they went in the home, and they're questioning Massey. And here's the one thing about the video that really pissed me off. They're questioning Massey. She called the police for help. At this point in time, she should have been considered a victim of a possible burglary, break-in, theft, what have you. She's the victim. These officers went in her house, and now they are talking to her, and they're going through and asking for her ID. Keep in mind, now it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're asking the victim of a possible crime for her ID. First of all, she's not the suspect. She's not being accused of any crime. She's not. She hadn't done anything wrong. If they ask her name for the report, she gave them her name, and she knew her name. But they didn't have. There's no reason why she would have had to produce an ID. But they hounding her about showing her ID. That's one thing that pissed me off about the whole video. They was treating her like the suspect. And then the officer that's involved, the one that shot, there was 2 officers on the scene at that point in time. The officer that shot made reference to a pot that Miss Massey had on the stove that had boiling water in it, and suggested that take the pot off the stove so there wouldn't be a fire or whatever. She follows, I'm not going to call it a command or whatever the case may be, but anyway, she went over to remove the pot from the stove, and she picked the pot up off the stove and sat on the counter. Now, at this point in time, the officer involved is reaching for his weapon. Why? I have no earthly idea. He's reaching for his weapon. There were words exchanged about the pot, and for some reason in his brain, he thought that, or he made up, or whatever the case may be, a scenario to where he thought she was going to throw the pot of water on him, which was far from the case. And then let me see if they I think they got the verbiage here from the body cam footage. Keep in mind now, the officer that shot did not, and I repeat, did not have his body camera on. He had turned his body camera off. He did not turn his body camera back on until after he had shot Miss Massey. Again, he didn't turn his body cam on until after he shot her. It was turned off prior to that. And I'm sure the policy of that police department or that sheriff department is to any call that you get, once your call is activated, your body cam is supposed to be activated. But what he forgot is that his partner had a body cam that was activated and was rolling and did record everything that he said and everything that he did. That's where he fucked up at. Because his partner was doing what his partner, even though they pissed me off by questioning her about her ID or whatever, well, she didn't have to show an ID. But anyway, his partner was going along with protocol and policy for that department by making sure his body cam was activated. So then he pulls his gun, he draws his gun, he yells at her. Let me read it. So, because I'm a little hype right now. I may get it wrong. But anyway, the Illinois State Police released a 36-minute video, which includes body cam footage from each of the two Saginaw deputies. However, Massey's wasn't turned on until after the incident, after the shooting. The body cam shows footage of Grayson and another deputy speaking calmly with Massey in her home, at which point she goes to the stove and turns the pot off, pot of boiling water. She then picks up the pot, and the deputy steps back away from your hot steaming water, he says. And when he stepped back, she said jokingly, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. The deputy says, huh? She says it again. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. She repeats. Then he yells, you better not. You better fucking not. I swear to God, I'll fucking shoot you in the face, Grayson says. Then he draws his firearm and points it at her. And she ducks down and says, I'm sorry, while lifting the pot. The video don't show she lifting the pot. You got to watch the video. She didn't lift the pot. Drop the fucking pot. Both deputies yell. 3 shots are heard. A few seconds silence. One deputy says shots fired for emergency medical service, and that shot her said, dude, I'm not taking fucking boiling water to the fucking head. And look, it came right over here to our feet, Grayson says. Minutes after the shooting, Grayson speaks to another law enforcement figure and says she had boiling water and she came at me with the boiling water. That's going to be very important here in just a second, so y'all keep listening. She said she has boiling water and she came at me with the boiling water, he says in the video. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came at me with boiling water. Grayson did not activate his body cam until after he fatally shot Massey, according to charging documents. The other deputy had activated his body cam when he first arrived at the scene, like he's supposed to. In the body cam footage, Grayson tells the partner that Massey would not need medical help, so he wanted her to die. Because she was still gasping at that time. She was not dead, even though he had shot her in the face and shot her in the chest twice. She wasn't dead at that point in time. But he told the other deputy, she's not going to need medical help. Other deputy said he medical kit to help her. Grayson responds, nah, she's done. You can go get it, but that's a headshot. He said this. All this is on camera. Grayson goes into his vehicle to get his own medical supply. When he come back to the house, he asks if there's anything he can do, but told no. All right, I'm not even going to waste my med stuff. Then Grayson said. So the other asshole fell in line and didn't want to render any type of aid to Miss Massey as she lay there dying. Next, Grayson leaves the house and speaks to a group of law enforcement officers outside. Yeah, I'm good. And then he disrespected her after he killed her. He disrespected her and called her out her name. So I hope they put him in Gen Pop while he locked up. But anyway, he says, I'm good. This fucking bitch is crazy. So, Mr. Ex-officer that wanted to target this black woman for no reason at all, when she called for help, Ex-officer Grayson is his name. After he shoots in the face, shoots in the chest twice, and then you want to call her a fucking bitch. I hope whatever jail that you're in, I hope somebody's in that jail listening to this and watching the news and seeing everything that you did and everything that you said in this case. And I'm going to leave it at that. But with disrespecting our black women, our police officers, with the brutality is disrespecting our black women, black people as a whole, if you will. But this young lady was executed by someone who's supposed to have been protecting and serving. Now, if you get into the video, we know that this man lied, sat there and said that Miss Massey came at him with that pot of water. The body cam clearly shows that she did not come anywhere near him with that pot of water. She did exactly what he wanted her to do and take that pot of water off the stove. They told her to go do it. She did exactly what they asked her to do. And they shot her for doing what they asked her to do. With the pot of water, when she ducked down, after he pointed her gun at her, she ducked down and said sorry. What she was apologizing for, I don't know. She had no reason to apologize. But when you have a gun being pointed at you, in the middle of the night, in your own home by somebody who's supposed to be there to protect you, and now he's drawing his gun on you for no fucking reason at all, she felt the need to apologize. Those were her last words, apologizing to the asshole that shot her. Her last words, I'm sorry. When the person that's pulling the trigger is the one that's sorry. The sorry fucking individual. And whatever you got coming towards you, you deserve it. But getting back to the video, if you watch the video and you slow the video down and you look at the video, that pot of water was sitting on the counter. It was sitting on the counter. She had put the pot of water on the counter. When she ducked down and said sorry, that pot of water was sitting on the counter. And this man who was given a badge and a gun and given authority over another human being chose to execute her. This was worse than a mob style execution. He executed this woman, this black woman in her own home, who called 911 for protection. And she didn't get protection, she got a death sentence. This ain't the first case where black people have called the police and ended up being the victim, ended up being victimized by the police. That's why even me to this day, I hesitate to call the police, because I don't want them showing up and I end up on somebody's t-shirt, or I end up the reason people are marching, that people are protesting. I hesitate to call the police because I fear what can happen if I call the police for help. Now that's a sad situation where you can't even call the organizations that you're supposed to be able to call to get assistance, and you feel that you cannot call the people that's supposed to be there to protect and serve. That's a sad situation. But that's the reality of being black in America. It happens too far often, being black in America, where you call the police, you looking for assistance, and you become deceased at the hands of the people that's protecting you. So it's getting worse, people. Ever since George Floyd's situation, it is getting worse. I know after the George Floyd, the whole protest, even right after, even the day of the verdict, where that came down, day of the verdict, there was police shootings, unjustified police shootings on the day of the verdict when George Floyd killer got convicted, which I'm surprised that happened, because we don't get any type of justice the majority of the time. And let me tell you when justice is served when it comes to a police officer. And again, I don't know the exact numbers. So I'm not gonna put that out there because I don't know exact numbers. So I'm gonna hold off. Let's digress. Mr. Dave Williams might be listening. And he's a friend he was on my friends list on Facebook, and he has posted the video, a close up of the where it shows that pot sitting on the counter. Because on the video that you see on the news, is a faraway shot, whatever is it's not the best quality video or whatever, but it's far away shot. You kind of see off in the distance or whatever. The other the video that's circulating, that's been enhanced, it actually shows like a close up, and it shows that pot was sitting on the counter when this shots rang out. Now, this particular cop obviously went there with an agenda. And this should be first degree premeditated murder. He went there with an agenda. He didn't have his body cam on. He didn't turn it on. He didn't bother to turn it on, but he didn't think about the fact that his partner may have his body cam on. He may thought that, the partner wasn't going to be in the house at that time. So he was just looking for any type of reason to to draw his weapon on this young lady. And he found it, but he found it when the watchful eye was watching him, and he probably didn't even realize it. He probably thought his partner, the person that responded to him, didn't have theirs on either. That's probably what he thought. Because I guarantee you, if it was not for that body cam, he would not be charged with her murder. I'm almost positive. I would bet my house on it that if it wasn't for the other responding officer having his body cam on, that we would not have a charge of murder for this officer. Because he lied. He flat out lied about the situation. He said she came toward him. He came toward him with the pot of water. So first of all, it's not a threat to your life. Deadly force is used in a situation where you're facing deadly force. As a police officer, you're trained to handle situations. You're trained to do this, that, and other, depending on what the situation is. This woman, just looking at her, again, I don't know her personally, but just looking at her stature, if you will, she's a woman of small stature. She's a small and just looking at her, she might be a $110, $125, $120 at the most. She's a small lady. Even if she did, let's give a hypothetical. Even if she did throw the water, one move to the right or to the left would diffuse that whole situation. She ain't got, there's only one pot. But here's the deal. Race plays an issue in this, and nobody can tell me anything different. If this had been a white woman, that white woman would not have faced any type of fear. She would not have been looked at as a threat. In the same setting, same scenario, if every single thing happened the same exact way, it would have ended differently. It wouldn't have been an uproar, but after she moved the pot from the stove, it wouldn't have been no grabbing for the weapons when she picked up the pot from the stove. Keep in mind, they told her to pick up the pot. If she had been white, we would not be talking about this. There would be no story. There would be no murder. There would be no shooting. There would be no nothing. It would be just a simple police report where they went out and checked out. They didn't find any problems or what have you. Thank you, Karen. Have a nice night. That's what it would have been. But because she's black, and nobody convinced me anything otherwise, because she's a black woman, she died for no reason. But matter of fact, on my Facebook, I'm going to share this video. So if you want to see the video of the up close, where you can clearly see that the pot was on the counter. The pot was on the counter. When he pointed the gun up, she pulled her hands up. She have a pot holder in one hand, and she has like a glove in the other hand, where she had just picked up the pot. She ducks down, and she kind of takes the gloves, her hands, and put them like this. Then he fucking shoots her in the face. I'm not saying all cops are bad, but we have too many bad cops. We have too many assholes like this one who goes out and preys on black people. And that's what it is. They preying on black people. It is open season on black people when it comes to police. Again, I'm not saying all police officers are bad. I personally know some police officers, and for what I know, some of the ones that I know or some of the ones that I deal with uh, aren't assholes. Do they do their job? Yes, they do their job. Do they get criticized for doing the job? Yes, they do. However, they're not corrupt. They're not out for vengeance. They're not out trying being trigger happy and looking to shoot somebody. But this asshole, he was plotting. It seemed like the whole time he was plotting. He was just waiting on the opportunity to pull his weapon and didn't think that there was any cameras watching him. And he pulled his weapon and he shot. And it took him almost 2 weeks to fire him. Why it took that long? All I had to do was play the fucking video and seeing that he shot the woman for no reason. Why it took so long for him to get fired? He kept getting paid until he got fired. So they was paying him to at that point in time, he was being paid to be a killer of innocent people. And then they fire him, and then they finally arrest him. I'm surprised they put him under first-degree murder. Not that it wasn't first-degree murder, it's because, again, we don't get the justice that we should when it comes to these type of situations. SONYA Massey is her name. She was a black woman seeking protection from someone who swore to uphold the law, someone who swore to protect and serve, someone who's supposed to work for the community, someone who's supposed to be friendly to our community, became her executioner. It's only the first part of the journey for justice. Although I'm happy to see that there was an arrest made, there was charges, first-degree murder charge put on him. I'm not happy with the fact that the situation wasn't expedited because the body cam is unloaded daily. Your body cam footage is unloaded daily. In a situation like that, I would think that as soon as the event happened, the first thing that you do, you turn in your gun. You turn in your gun, and you get put on desk duty. You turn in your body cam in the investigation. So it should have been, I give them 24 hours. Should have been 24 hours before they seen this body cam footage and seen that this man executed this woman. But it took them 2 weeks. There's an open season on black people. We're living in a racist society. We're living in a racist country, even though you got some dumbasses that will say, oh, the United States is not a racist country. Kiss my ass. United States is one of the United States was founded on racism. The United States was founded on white people being looked at as a superior race. As the Indians. The Indians were pillaged. They were destroyed because the white man decided to come over here and take their land and claim it as their own. Columbus didn't discover a motherfucking thing. The Indians was already here. They had already occupied territory here. Columbus didn't discover it. Columbus stole. But the real history is not taught. So with where we are right now, we should not be in a situation where black people are still being hunted down by officers, overseers. That's where the word seem to have derived from. Because back in the days when the when we were stolen from our land and put on the plantation, we had overseers. Once slavery was outlawed and abolished and slaves were emancipated, they went from overseers to officers. They had to figure out a way to keep people in bondage to where they can get free labor out of them. So they created the police, the officers, where black people were being locked up just for being unemployed. Vagrancy, just being out on the street, being unemployed, you were arrested and you were put into these prisons and these jails where you were forced to give up free labor. And that is still in our Constitution, where slavery is still legal in the United States of America. You don't believe me? Read the Constitution. It's just there to tell you slavery is legal if you have been convicted of a crime. And we know that our black brothers and sisters make up 30% of the 30+% of the prison population, but however, we only make up 13 over 13% of the whole population of the United States. But we make up 30% of the prison population. So the justice system is weighed against us, and we see it, we know it. But this young lady died at the hands of someone who's supposed to protect and serve. Y'all know I go hard on police officers. I don't go lightly with police officers, especially the rogue officers that want to do their own thing and not want to follow the law and not want to respect people. And then people want to say fuck the police. They wonder. The reasons like this. Ask Miss Massey. Well, if you could ask her, but she's no longer here. Mrs. Massey is an example of why I say fuck the police. Again, I'm not saying all officers are bad, but we have a lot of bad officers. We have a lot of scared officers who are scared of black people. We have a lot of officers who don't know how to interact with black people, who don't know how to mingle amongst black people without having that fear. And when you have that fear turns into anxiety. That fear turns into bad judgment. If you're not cut out for the job, if you're not fit for the job, don't do the fucking job. I'm different. Get a job where you work by your damn self. Don't get a job where you have to go amongst the same people that you're scared of. And a lot of those officers who become officers, a lot of them are the ones that become officers because of the fact that they got their ass whooped coming up through school. They were beat up, bullied, or whatever the case may be, and they become officers to get their get back, to get their revenge. And they take it out on black people. Black people die because they have a Subway sandwich in their hand. They die because they have a phone in their hand. They die because they have a registered firearm in their possession, and they tell officers that I have a registered firearm, even though they haven't brandished that firearm. They still die. They die because they're selling loose cigarettes. They die because of mistaken identity. They die from no-knock warrants. They die from officers just shooting at random. They die from police officers putting their knee on their neck. These are real situations that I'm making reference to. It's not anything I made up, not fabricated. All these incidents happen. We die because we're not properly secured in vehicles and when we are arrested unjustly. Young man died in the back of a police van because he wasn't properly secured in the back of that vehicle when he was arrested. And they slammed on brakes and then he broke his fucking neck, treated him like garbage. They still treated him like he was faking the situation. Didn't try to render any type of aid. But he died. Eric Gardner was choked out for selling loose cigarettes. I can't breathe. That's what he kept saying. I can't breathe. George Floyd, I can't breathe. Young man playing in the park. Police officers pull up. He's shot within 3 seconds of the officers pulling up because he's playing in a park, posing no threat to nobody. Tamir Rice. Sandra Bland was on her way to a job, from leaving one state going to another on her way to a job, and found herself incarcerated over some bullshit over a rogue officer who wanted to play like he was a badass. Locked her up. She died in a correction officer in a jail where nobody can explain how she died. I'm tired of saying police officers. I'm to remain on board. And fire from one agency and move to another agency. The fact that our government, the right wing assholes in the government, won't pass simple reforms that will outlaw or make these type of acts criminal. If they were criminal acts and if they were held accountable, being held accountable it may slow the situation down. But we can't even get police reform. We can't even get the dumbasses on the right to agree that being choked out by a police officer is wrong. All a police officer has to do is say, gun. He got a gun. All a police officer have to do is say, I fear for my life. I was in fear of my life. And that gives justification for them to commit murder and get away with it. SONYA Massey is her name. Young lady that was executed by an officer that was supposed to be there to protect and serve. When will we overcome? That old Negro spiritual used to ring out in the 50s and 60s. We shall overcome one day. That day has not come yet. Martin Luther King had a dream that one day that dream is becoming a nightmare. Something has to change, people. Something has to change. Racism in America is rampant. The political climate right now with the dumbasses on the right with Trump, he is He has emboldened and given the racists a pass and an opportunity to be racist. And all of them are following suit. For a lot of years, we had closet racism. Racism never went away. It just went in the closet. They just hid it. They didn't say it out loud. The political climate has made it to where racism can be displayed out in the open. Look at all these red hats that says MAGA. You may as well say racism. You may as well say racists. When will we overcome? When will that change come? You got to figure it out, people. We have to figure it out. But that's my time, y'all. I want to thank you five guys for joining me today. SONYA Massey is her name. Let's not let her death be in vain. Let's put lawmakers in positions to where we can get police reform, where we can get gun reform, where we can get on the path to equality. It's up to you, people. The right that our forefathers fought for, our civil rights forefathers, for us to vote, is the best avenue, the best vehicle that we have to get to that point. If you don't vote, just shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. Don't complain about nothing. Because your non-vote is a vote for your own oppression. But anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll be back on Monday night. Monday night to be the show that gonna peg it as my anniversary show. Anniversary show on Monday, 6 o'clock, WPML Radio. Make sure you tune in on Monday. Celebrating anniversary. Go to my Facebook page if you want to help me out with anything that you got to help advance this show as far as trying to upgrade equipment to do at studio number 2. I'm trying to advance get the more updated and upgraded equipment, and it's expensive. It's very expensive. So if you want to donate to the cause, go to my Facebook page and donate. My Cash App will be posted on there. But check me out Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, WPMM Radio. Until then, y'all have a good weekend. Y'all be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I'm out of here.